Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. So this is a video kind of mocking Hero Motocorp from India and the press that they receive from, especially from the Indian press, where they're saying that Hero are the biggest motorcycle company in the world, right? So every time I've read, and I read this so many times because I look at a lot of the Indian press and the motorcycle press, and they talk about Hero Motocorp because year on year they are the largest motorcycle manufacturer in India by far, by some considerable margin. I think last year they sold nearly 6 million motorcycles, 5.9 motorcycles. Bajaj sold 3.1, TVS sold 1.18 million, and Royal Enfield just broke through 1 million motorcycles. So they're all doing very, very well. They're in the millions, right? But Hero, they're 5.9. Now you would imagine, well, that is amazing. How many motorcycles? You know, other manufacturers can only dream of selling these kinds of numbers, right? Let's just have a look at the Japanese. Suzuki, they sold 2.1 million last year. Kawasaki, you would imagine there are a lot more, right? 478,125. The numbers might be slightly off here, but Kawasaki are a lot less here. Yamaha, 4.8 million. And the reasons are by Suzuki and Yamaha sell a lot more than Kawasaki, because Kawasaki don't sell small bikes, right? They don't sell scooters and that kind of thing. Who knows in the future, right? Triumph only sold about 134,635. This is last year. BMW, they broke the 200,000 barrier, so 210,000. Harley Davidson, just over 150,000. Ducati, 54,000. I think that jumped up into 60,000, depending on which time frame you're talking about. And say Royal Enfield, just over 1 million. The Chinese brands, so Huzhu, they 1.92 million, QJ Motor 1.5, Lonsin 1.4, Zhongshan 1 million, and it's unsure about CF Moto. Their numbers are increasing all the time because they've got a lot of international sales. So let's just say about 500,000 right now. Problem with the Chinese brands is that they're all government backed. They're not really competing with each other, whereas all the other brands are competing with each other. They have one goal: to sell motorcycles, not only domestic market, but within neighbouring markets as well. And whomever it comes from, it doesn't really make a difference, right? But in terms of Hero, yeah, they're sitting right at the top of the tree, apart from one other manufacturer. And that is, you guessed it, Honda motorcycles. Honda sell 20 odd million motorcycles every year. In fact, Honda are trying to make a big play into India, the Indian market, to try and get some of their market share. They've opened up another manufacturing plant or assembly plant, I believe, in India, just for this very reason. In fact, year on year, their sales increase in India is dramatic. I think this last year, they've gone up by 20 odd %. Or certainly the first couple of quarters of this year, maybe the first half of this year, maybe by now the first 3 quarters of this year, they've gone up sort of 20-25%, something like that. It's just very impressive how Honda have got into a market that's been dominated by the Indian motorcycle manufacturer and say, no, we can come and compete on your turf. So when I read the likes of some industry press, they're talking about Heroes if they are the biggest. Well, I first of all, I question, well, by what metric are you saying they are the biggest? Because if you're talking about numbers of units sold, then they're not. They're way off. Are you talking about they are the biggest in India, and you're classing India as the biggest motorcycle market in the world, therefore they are the biggest motorcycle manufacturer in the world? I can see the kind of twisted logic there, but they're not. They're not. You shouldn't be saying the world. If you're saying in India, I get it. I say, yeah, dot your cap. Yeah, absolutely right. 100%. But in terms of the globe, no, of course they're not. Now, they're the second biggest in the world. So it really depends what other metric, you're gauging them by. Do they have the biggest market share in Asia? Do they have, are they the motorcycle manufacturer that are evidence, that are present in most foreign markets? Well, again, I haven't done the numbers here, but I can't see them being more successful in that regard than Honda. Honda are all over the world, right? Whereas Hero, I know for a fact, are not all over the world. So it's very interesting when you read some industry press and the words that they use, and sometimes there are typos, and we all make mistakes. And crikey, hey, how I missay things the last time. I was talking about Norton and Bajaj in my last video, I was talking, I had it in my mind, it was TVS, but it just came out Bajaj, and I didn't even pick it up until somebody mentioned it in the comments. Yeah, we all misspeak, and we all say things from time to time that is, incorrect, let's say, and even journalists get it wrong. But here's a clear point to make. That Hero are the biggest motorcycle manufacturer in the world, and it hasn't just happened once; it happens time and time and time again. So here, this video is just to set the record straight. They're not the biggest motorcycle manufacturer in the world, albeit they're a very good motorcycle manufacturer. Of course, they've teamed up with Harley Davidson for the X440. Maybe there are new motorcycles coming in the offing. Maybe they're going to team up with Harley Davidson for their new bike, this $6,000 bike. Maybe that's where the manufacturing is going to come from. Maybe there's going to be an even greater association between Harley Davidson and Indian manufacturing in the future. Who knows? Maybe there'll be even more funding from Hero, the Indian motorcycle manufacturer, into Harley Davidson. Maybe there's going to be some greater collaboration in the future. Who knows? But it still doesn't stop the fact, still doesn't deny the fact that they're not the biggest motorcycle manufacturer. And it's interesting to me that there are lots of journalists out there who would have you believe that something is just so, that black is white, when it isn't. It isn't. It's just because they might be great in certain respects, they are not the biggest. They're not necessarily the best. I don't even know how you would gauge the best motorcycle manufacturer in the world, because it really depends what you're basing it on. All I would say is that the most successful, whether you class them as the best, but the most successful is Honda. And Hero are doing very, very well, don't get me wrong, but Honda are definitely the biggest and the most selling motorcycle manufacturer in the world. If you know what to do here, keep on watching the videos, and I'll catch you again on another video coming very soon. Bye now.